After years of searching, the Simmons was finally found in 1971 by Kent Bellrichard. Bellrichard got most of his coordinates from the commercial fishermen. Because of its depth, the Simmons was extremely hard to find.
The reason it took so long to find this particular shipwreck is because of the depth. You're dealing with 170 feet of water, and most of the shipwreck hunting people don't really care to hunt for shipwrecks that deep either because of the depth. When people actually search for shipwrecks, it can take a long time. It can take years to find a particular shipwreck. So this is not something that you would go out and do a one-day search and say, found it, we're going to dive it. It's not that simple.
At some point you feel a little bit of the danger. It's not anywhere near the dangers that these crew felt, but the history and the romance of it all, and thinking about the story of what happened. And then when you get down on the wreck and you see this wooden sailing vessel and you see the Christmas trees still on it, it just makes the hair stand up in the back of my neck. It's just such a thrill to be able to see that.
On the bow of the ship is the anchor windlasses, and there's still chain on them, and they're very, very good condition. And then of course you can see some of the deck boards are gone, and there's Christmas trees. You can see the Christmas trees in the cargo hold.
It's amazing how well the Christmas trees are preserved inside the hull. I mean, they still have needles on. The ones that were buried in the mud still have needles on them. They're all flat, of course, but the mast laying out front, the rigging's laying on the mast. It's actually a pretty cool wreck.
When you read a book and you hear the story, sometimes it almost seems unbelievable. But when you actually see it, you see it with your own eyes, you see the shipwreck, and you see the trees on the shipwreck, it definitely makes it real. And that's just a thrill for me.
When you go down and you're a part of that down there, does that history, does that story make the whole experience that much better?
Absolutely. And when I think about the crew on these ships, any wooden sailing vessel, anything sailing the Great Lakes, knowing what can happen in the seas, especially in late November, and the heavy winds and the ice and the cold, these were hardy souls that did that, and they were making their living doing it. I am in such awe of that, and to be able to have the opportunity to dive in a shipwreck, you know, an 1800 built shipwreck that you simply can't find anywhere else in the world today, it's an absolute thrill for me.
When we dived, especially the first time I dove this ship, we were a little leery. You know, you're always a little leery when you dive a shipwreck, especially when the whole crew was lost. It gives you a feeling of visiting, let's say, like a cemetery or a memorial. So you do have a little bit of a feeling in the back of sorrow and a little bit of depression.
But you know what? I never feel bad about diving it, even though, you know, like 9 people drowned, and that's really a sad thing considering what kind of weather they went down in. It's a really, I mean, I consider it one of the nicest dives on this side of the lake. It's peaceful. It's great to look at. I mean, I enjoy the heck out of it.
It's surreal, but yet there it is, right in front of your own eyes. And when you hear the stories, and some of the stories you know are true, and some of the portions of the story are really perhaps legend. You don't know what is true and what's been embellished. But you have an opportunity to reflect on your own to say what did or did not happen here. But here it is, right in front of me.